Yes, Sarah, we're just outside the prison where you're at right now, and like you were saying, there is a history of executions in the state. There's a history of executions in the country. But in 1972, a Supreme Court decision changed the way executions were done across the country, including here in Utah. And since that time, there have only been 7 in the state. Now, Honey is scheduled to be the 8th person executed, and he's going to die by lethal injection, which is just one of 2 methods the state uses. In 1972, the Supreme Court ruled that the death penalty was cruel and unusual if it was too severe for the crime, offended society's sense of justice, or was not more effective than a less severe penalty. Utah was the first state after this decision to resume executions. But
Utah doesn't use the death penalty very frequently. It has not sentenced many people to death, and it has not executed very many people.
Just 7 since that ruling. The Death Penalty Information Center tracks executions nationwide and says Utah's track record is similar to what the country is seeing as a whole.
The death penalty has not been used very frequently. We've seen a straight downward trend over the years. I think the public has really lost interest in the death penalty. They've lost confidence that it can be used accurately, and it costs a lot of money.
So, what are the requirements?
You can execute someone if you do it in a way that's humane and decent and straightforward.
Utah never used the electric chair, and after the Supreme Court's decision, only used a firing squad or lethal injection. In 2004, Utah actually got rid of the firing squad, but brought it back in 2015 if lethal injection is unavailable or found unconstitutional.
But lethal injection is, again, a source of many botched executions, and the firing squad has concerns of its own that it also may cause prolonged suffering for the prisoner during the execution.
Of the 7 executions carried out since the 70s, 4 have been by lethal injection and 3 by firing squad. The most recent was carried out on June 18, 2010. Ronnie Gardner died by firing squad. The Utah Department of Corrections says when asked if he had any last words, he simply replied, "I do not." On October 15, 1999, Joseph Parsons died by lethal injection. His last words were to a fellow death row inmate. He said, "Tell Woody the Rainbow Warrior rules." On January 26, 1996, John Taylor died by firing squad. His last words, "Remember me, but let me go." On July 30th, 1992, William Andrews died by lethal injection. The Department of Corrections doesn't have note of his last words. On June 10th, 1998,
"But I'm glad you caught me, because I couldn't stop, and I would go do it again if I had the chance."
Gary Bishop died by lethal injection. His last words, "Give my apologies to the families of my victims." On August 28th, 1987, Pierre Selby died by lethal injection. His final words, "I'm just gonna say my prayers." On January 7th, 1977, Gary Gilmore died by firing squad. He was the first person in the United States after the Supreme Court's ruling to be executed. His final words, "Let's do it." Now fast forward back to 2024. Tabaron Honey's execution warrant is signed on June 10th, and he's assigned to die by lethal injection. He pleads with the courts to put a stay on his execution, saying he wasn't given adequate notice of the protocols that'll be used to put him to death.
Mr. Honey does not have a constitutional right to access the protocols. UDC have provided the protocols. In fact, the protocols are right here. This book contains the protocols which UDC will use to execute Mr. Honey.
Those protocols have not been updated since 2010 and do not list pentobarbital as a drug that can be used for lethal injection. It's the drug that will be used for Honey's execution. Nonetheless, a judge denied Honey's request.
Mr. Honey has not sufficiently pled that any inconsistency or deficiency in the UDC's protocols or procedures governing the use of pentobarbital will cause actual harm in violation of a constitutional right.
Okay, so Honey, like the death row inmates who came before him, is scheduled to die shortly after midnight. Reporting live from the state prison, Kate Garner. Sarah, back to you.